Excuse me. All right, everybody. All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome into the Bearkat Bites podcast. It's an extension of the Bearkat Bites newsletter, professional football coverage, college football coverage specifically. Why? Because you deserve it. You all deserve it. So I'm Lane Fobbs. I'm the reporter. I'm the editor. The pretty much the staff. It's my wife and myself. um, well, definitely when we go to things, she's there. But I'm here about 95 because I love it and I want to get into it. Sam Houston is my school. We've talked about that past pod, the first pod, so you can join us there for more of that. But I want to get into what happened. I got to go and talk to Phil Longo this week. It was the off day on Wednesday, and that was super important because they had a chance to kind of recalibrate, reflect on what was the first week of practice. Remember, August 23rd, August 20th, they got a game, right? So what you're looking at there is a situation where you really don't want Western Kentucky to kind of show you anything. I mean, you don't want to show Western Kentucky anything. This is the one time that you're going to have to kind of have the element of surprise, right? And it's an early game. That's the second part of this thing. It's a much earlier game than they usually have. It's week quote zero, as they call it. So they got to deal with that, and that he did not realize that was going to happen when he took the job. He did not know that. Let's go back to Conference USA Media football kickoff. He said, we get the job, then it's announced that this, that game that we want to play in the middle of the year, maybe when we're kind of cooking, it's earlier in the year now. But to me, that could be a positive. And I kind of want to ask him, and especially given how no one really wants to give up any plans, and we didn't ask about game plans, but I have it on good authority that people have been trying to figure out what Sam Houston's going to be. People have been trying to figure out what's going on. And so Phil Longo and the coaching staff, Zach Patterson there, the offensive coordinator, Freddie Autry-Lindsey, they're very well aware of that. And while they did not give a specific battle plan, they gave clues. They left pieces that we can figure out, specifically about the quarterback. Let's start with Longo. He talked about how, excuse me, he talked about timing. He talked about, a lot of the players having to master the timing. And he said specifically whether that's the defense or the quarterbacks. You can go on, and the links are in our description, by the way. You can go on the Bearkat Bites Substack if you'd like to hear what Longo actually had to say about this. But he talked about how, long story short, they need timing. The quarterbacks, he specifically says them. Okay. And then we talked to Freddie Autry-Lindsey. Yes, the defensive coordinator, who's great. All interviews were great, by the way. But we talked to him. And what did he say? He talked about, I asked Freddie Autry-Lindsey, he told me that there was a and Colton from the Huntsville item, he was there as well. But it sounds cooler if I say he told me. So if someone that knows that Colton was there, just charge it to my theatrics, not my heart. But I was told by Freddie Autry-Lindsey that I asked him what to expect from a Phil Longo offense, because he faced him when he was at NC State. Longo was in North Carolina. They faced off, and he said to expect tempo, timing, tempo. I heard those two things bounced around during the interviews that I saw. I combined that then with Zach Patterson, and we'll talk about him in a little bit, about how he wanted to know about how he wanted the receivers, be exposed to these different routes and things. This is how we're going to get you open. They didn't say how, but there are different things that they're going to do to get open. So this requires timing. I had somebody in one of the Facebook comments talk about how the quarterbacks will kind of dictate the game plan, and that's just simply not true. I want to make that clear. It's simply not true that Phil Longo is going to cater to the quarterbacks. I don't think that that's going to happen. What's going on there in the comments? I got the comments up, so feel free to sound off. I'm not sure how long we can go. We got the free version of oh, what's going on, bro? What's going on, sir? We got the free version, so we're gonna go till the wheels fall off. But anyway, what's gonna happen with this offense is they want timing and tempo, and they feel they've got a quarterback that can do that. Right now, we don't know if it's Marbury or we don't know if it's Hunter Watson. Okay. My money, what I think is going to happen eventually is they start with Hunter Watson, tight leash. You know, he's been here before. They won 10 games with him last year, tight leash. Let me ask you this question. When did KC Keeler ever mention timing and tempo, specifically last year? Now, Sam Houston has cranked up the scores in years and decades past, but I'm talking about specifically last year. When did KC Keeler ever mention those two things? When did KC Keeler ever get in there and say timing and tempo? This is a whole new thing. And Longo is looking for the quarterback who can run this new thing. Now, how much of this new system or this new thing, running, passing, grounder, air, whatever happens, exactly, you can't remember mentioning it. Now, whatever happens is, you know, with that is a function of what is available. And Zach Patterson talked about the running backs as well. Let me get into that. I want to get into that with you guys. Zach Patterson sounded off about the running backs. Great interview, great guy. You know, now he was here at Sam Houston. He's been on staff with Longo, right? And he's just very excited about what the running backs can do. He described them as very versatile players that can get out in space, that make things happen. I'd love to see him line up like Reggie Bush circa USC. Line one of these guys up as a receiver, see what they can do. Get something underneath. We need a 4th and 4. I'm sorry, 4th and 4. Well, maybe they will need a 4th and 4. It's like 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, maybe they can leak out and get something going. Maybe that's what we'll see, right? But he also talked about getting the different receivers open in creative ways. I then took that was that quote from that, and you can, again, links are in the description. You can go to the Bearkat Bites newsletter, read more about it, and actually look at clips there too. This is more of a sports radio type of format where we talk about what I saw. We break down what I saw. This is your time to sound off as well. This is your time to ask questions and sound off. All right. And we're going to do this, by the way, every Thursday. This is a good time, huh? 7:15. Thursday at 7:15. Follow us on the socials and stuff, and I'll let you all know. But Thursdays at 7:15. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but sound issues and things like that, it happens. But I figured Thursday. But maybe Friday, depending on how good this one goes. I don't know. Thursday, we're going to try Thursday next week, but I digress. Let's see in the comments here. Patterson's the OC. Yeah. Patterson's the OC, but Longo will be calling the plays. Patterson is the OC, but Longo will be calling the plays. I was told at Conference USA football kickoff that think of Zach Patterson as the architect. He is effectively teaching this offense. Now, normally, sometimes that's like, oh, who's called the plays? Can he CEO? But I think in this, every situation is different. I think that this one is different in that both of them, and Patterson said this, are on the same page offensively. They're in lockstep about that. It's not one of those dreaded vote of confidence things. I don't get that sense. And Longo also talked about needing teachers to teach this offense, to teach this defense, right? And we're going to talk about that in a future newsletter. But those are some of the things that Zach Patterson had to say. All right, so those are some of the things that Zach Patterson had to say. Those are some of the clues that he left. It's definitely going to be different from KC Keeler. Longo's going to be calling the plays. Zach Patterson is teaching this system in which quarterbacks need timing and tempo. The running backs are going to be used in these creative ways. The wide receivers are as well. We took that quote to Michael Phoenix. He got excited. I spoke with Michael Phoenix. He told me, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say he dissed Casey Keeler. I'm not gonna be that crass, but there was maybe a little shade there at Casey Keeler about the old offense that they ran all last year. I mean, the receivers were really good. There's a case to be made that they were probably the best position on the field, you know, and losing Simeon Evans to North Texas, that really hurts. Losing Simeon Evans to North Texas hurts. Let me make sure. Yeah, that was your leading receiver with almost 600 yards. Yeah, so this isn't going to be that. Now, maybe every game is 45-40. I don't know. But that's what Zach Patterson had to say. And I found that some of those things pretty interesting. It's going to be a completely different offense. You're going to see wide receivers get open in different creates. So something that I'm going to be looking for is turnovers and mistakes. How precise can they run this thing, right? And Longo said he was pretty excited about how quickly, at least through week one, that these guys were processing things. So I thought that was pretty good too. So, you know, if they're not going to be the most talented team a lot of the time, guys, that's no secret. But the question really is, can they run this, in a precise way? Oh, Simeon's a big loss. Simeon's a loss. Given this offense, what it is now, Simeon is a loss. He's a loss. Yeah, and there's a reason, because the offense was not built for receivers. Now North Texas, he's out there. They're going to crank it up with Eric Morris, the head coach there, right, up in Denton. But Simeon in this offense, I would have loved to have seen, you know. And maybe it's not that big a loss, because in the system, maybe they've got the receivers to just more than make up for it. But I would have liked to have seen him in this one. And then we talked to the with the defense. Yes, the wide receiver core is probably one of the best, top on the team. If you're ranking the positions, definitely on offense, offensive line, then you'll go receiver. We spoke with Freddie Autry-Lindsey. Now, I found something interesting about him already. Every other coach, their backs were facing the field. So say you have a window, your back is facing the window in your office. He did not like that. He wanted to look over and see stuff, so he did it like that, you know, so he can look over, see the field, see people, and, you know, get a little light going. You know, we talked about that a little bit. He's a good guy. Remember, he's been in North Carolina. He's been in NC Central. He's been at different places like that. He talked about two early standouts with C.J. Brown for Bowling Green, which is good because especially against Western Kentucky, a guy like him is going to have to do something in the passing game. A guy like him is going to have to do something in the passing game. And then somebody interesting, Dylan Frazier. Now, granted, it's only a week, but Dylan Frazier, he mentioned. And then it really got me thinking. It really got me thinking when it comes to Dylan Frazier. You know, people are excited about Keelan Cox there from Texas Southern transfer. People are excited about I don't want to butcher the names. Zaquee Lawton. Sorry if I did. Somebody type in the comments the exact pronunciation. You know, like the little, you know how they type it, how it sounds or whatever that's called. Do that if I got it wrong. And then they're talking about, and then Freddie Autry-Lindsey mentioned Dylan Frazier. So it got me thinking, you know, this defense is the defensive line specifically. It's got hammered a little bit during the offseason, and they've lost a lot. Yes, they have. When you're losing that much material, that many players, it's going to be something, right? But maybe the replacements aren't as bad as we thought, for lack of a better term. That didn't sound as good as I wanted it. But, you know, maybe it's not as bad as fans would think. Let me put it that way. Maybe it's not. Some of these guys are being mentioned as standouts. So, you know, Quavez Humphreys was also mentioned by Phil Longo as an early standout. So that's kind of interesting. Freddie Autry said, you know, it's because he was here last year. He's consistent, things like that. Maybe there's something there. Maybe we're missing something there with Dylan Frazier. I don't know. But overall, like I said, I found a more relaxed. There we go. A more relaxed and comfortable Phil Longo. No, he didn't mention it. And we had a couple of people ask about that. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up here in the comments. He did not. And they don't want to give up anything because apparently, I have it on authority that people have been looking around, snooping about what the game plan is, and they're very secretive about the actual game plan because this is the one chance that they have to really get Western Kentucky or try to catch anybody by surprise. I get it. I get it. And we'll have the games to see what they're running and whether it's effective. We'll have that. I get that. But yeah, people want to know, are they going to be more bulldozing defensive linemen or D linemen than more just trying to hold the line or just get some pressure? I would say more the latter. I would say it's going to be built more, maybe more of a speed defense. Maybe they'll try that a little bit because the offense is going to be a little more cranked up. So the defense is going to have that speed. So I think that's kind of what they're going to lean on early. Yeah, Jace Arnold, people are excited about. He was not mentioned as an early person that stuck out yet. But the thing is, now this week coming up, they're getting into pads. We will be halfway through. The next time we'll get to talk to them is August 19th. The next time will be August 19th, right at game week. But like I said, Longo was a lot more relaxed compared to Conference USA kickoff. We got 6 people moving with him and all that stuff. I think everything's more settled in. School's about to start. I know my wife is going, she's already back at work. I think school starts for them like August 13th. It starts early and earlier, right? It will be nice to have a speedy defense. Let's see. Rushing the passer, disrupting. Yeah. Keelan Cox might be that. Keelan Cox might be that. Maybe Dylan Frazier is. Dylan Frazier is 275, but 6'5". What does it look like when 3 defensive ends are coming at you? But can they get around bigger offensive linemen? Would be the question, right? It would be nice. It would be nice. But those are kind of the clues. So I guess overall with the defense, maybe the defensive line is a little bit better than we thought. I definitely think they're going to go speed because with Phil Longo, he talked about timing. The defense is going to need timing. They're going to know when they're going to need to read the quarterback's eyes. They're going to need to go and pass. Especially against Western Kentucky, they got Maverick McIver. They got Mr. Maverick McIver from over there in Abilene Christian. He and his offensive coordinator are ready to crank it up on Sam. They're ready to send an early message. The only way you're going to really stop that is if you kind of got some speed. So I'm looking at really maybe the defensive line. They're not going to be asked to do a ton. Maybe don't expect a ton of sacks, but how many passes defensed? How many pressures are you getting on the quarterback? How many passes deflected? That type of stuff. How well are you in coverage? Well, keep it look. The defense is going to be a question. Can Sam Houston win the game 40-33? Something like that. That's what they want. That's what I'm thinking that they want from the defense. And again, it's going to be about how well they process the information, how precise they are. You can say that about any team, but especially a team that's at a quote talent deficiency. When you look at recruiting measures and they measure these players and all that stuff. So there's that. Let's see what else we got here. Someone asked me, wanted to talk about the schedule overview. What do I think about the Sam Houston schedule? I've got it right here. What do I think about it overall? It obviously it's tough. It's unforgiving. They've got a first meeting with UNLV, their first ever trip to Hawaii. Goodness, no lie. I'm not going to lie. I wish I had started this platform about 5 years ago. We could build it up to where we have enough paid subscribers to be able to go to Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my thoughts. First meeting at Oregon State. I mean, this is going to be a tough go of it. All right. And, Longo won't say it, and I keep trying to ask him different ways, but you're going to know what you have. That's one kind of good thing about this early schedule. You're at Western Kentucky a week early in 0 week. You're home for UNLV on a Friday night. You're at Hawaii right after that. And then you take a break before Texas in Austin. Then you take a break. You get to be in the buzzsaw of Arch Madness. Lots of traveling. Yeah. By the way, we're going to have Sam Houston State shirts as well. We're going to have Sam Houston State shirts. Hopefully I get those in next week. Well, I should say Bearkat Bite newsletter shirts. These are not Sam Houston. They're exclusive to what we do here. They're exclusive to what we do here on this platform. You'll get one two ways. You can buy one, or you can get our year subscription. It's just $50 a year, $5 a month on the Substack. The link is in the description, and you'll get a, if you do that, you'll get a shirt and our surprise item for the holidays. So we got a couple of things there for you if you go ahead and do that. Yeah, Friday night at 8 p.m. One good thing for me, also looking at the schedule, I will be taking a train. Now you all better support as well, because let me tell you something. I also do creative writing in the spring. So in the fall, I've dedicated myself more to covering the Bearcats in college football. So I postponed or canceled my trip to Boise, Idaho, to be here to cover this game, to serve you all. I have canceled that to be here to serve you all. I will be there. The game starts at 8. I will take a train from my day job. I'm close enough to be able to take a train, and I will be there covering the game against UNLV. We will have posts, we'll have sound, all of that good stuff. After every game, whether it's home or away, I want to get on here no matter how late it is. So even the Hawaii game, we'll be up at 3, 4 in the morning doing a post game. I want to do a post game after every game. So we did, man, just stay with us. We got it for you. But I want to talk about, I was asked about my thoughts on the schedule. It's very unforgiving. Hopefully this changes down the line. I don't, some of this is, we set up all these games way back when, and now the bill is due. This is a bill is due schedule. This was created back in around COVID, maybe. Teams were canceling. Who knew what the world was going to be? It was right before that. Excuse me. It was a whole different world, right? And so now the bill is due. This is going to be tough. Not officially yet, but they were last year, so I'm thinking they will be. The Texas game, I'm a bit iffy on. So we'll see. That's a lower profile game for the Horns, so perhaps we'll get in there and cover some of that. We're gonna see. The Horns are kind of funny style about stuff, so we'll check that out and see. But for the home games, we should be okay. Asking about the credentials there. So we'll be there for that one. We'll be there for the Wednesday night games, the Jackson State game, the Jacksonville State, I'm sorry, and UTEP. The UTEP game is going to be fun because that's UTEP's swan song into the Pac-12. Let's see if Sam Houston can get them on that Wednesday night. Let's see. I was asked about, has my opinion changed from the off season now that I've heard other teams, that I've heard other coaches and things? It has. I had 6 wins for Sam Houston. I'm going to go with 5, which is the over. I think the over under is 4.5. So I would go to Vegas and cash the over. So, hey, don't hate me. I would cash the over, but right now I'd go with 5. Well, I'll go with 5 wins here at Western. I mean, I see in the comments here people undervaluing the team and Keelan Cox. I mean, those guys are going to be good, but I think just the schedule is just such a gauntlet. 5 wins, that tier 5, 6 wins, to me, that says they're pretty talented. They understand what Phil Longo's doing. If the turnovers are low and the effort is there, the schedule was just tough. And you got, if you're a fan of the team, you can live with that. You live with that, right? If I told you right now, that's what it is. 8 wins. Oh, now, some of you are very bullish and say 8 wins. And hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I just don't know where 8 wins come from on the schedule. You're at Western Kentucky. I think that's a loss. You're UNLV. I think that's a loss. Hawaii. Now, I picked that earlier as a win. But, and I'll keep that as a win. I'll keep that one as a win. Yeah, 6 wins is good. What number of wins would you live with if you You think they're gonna get 8 games. What's the minimum number of games that would make you go, okay, let's see what 26, 27 brings? Because that's when I think they're gonna really get it cooking. They're gonna have better relationships with the coaches again. Some of the coaches, there's been turnover in high school football since Longo was here. So they got to go back, get back in those inroads. I got to see Longo at the Texas High School Association next year. Hopefully next year I'm doing a story with that. Now my dad goes to that. He coaches middle school. Hopefully I'm taking a trip with him next year to go hear Sam Houston coach Phil Longo. You got to get those relationships back going, and I think he will. 7 wins. Yeah, every team, but some teams got more elite than others. Some teams are much more comfortable in what they're running than others. You look at a team like Middle Tennessee, they've got Nicholas Vadiato out there, the quarterback. Now, his offensive line was terrible. He's got to cut down on his interceptions. But I spoke, and you can go on the Twitter page at Bearkat Bites. I spoke with oh gosh, not Dave Doran. Oh man, I spoke with the Middle Tennessee coach. I cannot think of his name right now. And the Blue Raiders head coach had this to say. He talked about how the offensive line was really improved. He talked about it was much better. They brought in recruits. He's not too high on the defensive line, but he really said that the offense is going to look a lot better. I mean, there's just some teams that are more comfortable running what they've got. Even FIU, who, by the way, that Sam Houston game, the final one against FIU, don't be surprised if that is the game that both teams, don't be surprised if that's the game that both teams will go in needing that 6th bowl win. This will be reposted later. Yes, this will be reposted later. Yes, go ahead. This will be reposted later. So there's that as well. Don't be surprised because they've got a good quarterback too. They've got Derek Mason. That's the guy's name from Middle Tennessee. But, you look at a team like Jack State. They're breaking in a new quarterback, but they already know who theirs is. They declared it in the spring. You look at New Mexico State. They're breaking in a new quarterback, but they declared him in the spring. Western Kentucky's got their guy. Liberty's got their guy. Sam Houston, we're still kind of asking the question about what guy. UTEP, interestingly, we're asking the same question about their guy. Delaware, they're asking the question about their guy, right? So those are the teams that you're looking at. Maybe they can get those wins. But I got Hawaii as a win. Texas had, so let's go back through the schedule here. At Western Kentucky, early on, I don't think so. Loss. At home against UNLV. Valiant effort, but I think they lose. At Hawaii, I think that's the first win. They get the first win in just some funky late night fashion. I'm going to be on some backward streaming service, I'm sure, trying to watch it with the rest of you. There's that one. And I will be covering it. We'll be discussing it. All right. At Texas. Now, at Texas is sandwiched in between 2 bye weeks. You're hoping you don't leave Texas injured, right? That's really it. It's going to be the Buzzsaw Arch Madness. I've already got a hotel room there. I've already got one. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if we can get in, right? But I think that's a loss. At New Mexico State, I picked that as a win. I've got that one as a win. Now, Logan Fife, he was there, Montana State. They're saying he's pretty decent. So maybe it'll be like the game. I think it was 2 years ago against New Mexico State where Sam Houston ground out the win. Was it that one? I think so. Or it was kind of even or. I can't remember which team won. It'll be that way, but I think Sam Houston will win. Jacksonville, Alabama State. They're one of those teams breaking in a new quarterback. Interestingly enough, out of all the teams that Sam Houston faces up until Jacksonville State, the only one that doesn't know about their quarterback is possibly UNLV. I think there's a race there between Calandria and whoever the backup is there. I think there might be a kind of a race there. But the other ones up until Jacksonville State, and even they know theirs, only one team is kind of teetering. So everybody else is pretty set with their quarterback situation except for Sam Houston. Their first half of their season, right? Now, Jacksonville State, I talked with the head coach there, Charles Kelly, at the football kickoff. He said, it's a lot of new faces, and even the quarterback is new, but I think Wismat right now, he's in the driver's seat. He was very direct. He was very direct about it. Scotty Walden, he danced around the question a little bit, so UTEP doesn't really have one. By the way, I got the Jacksonville State game as a loss. I got the UTEP game as a win, because again, they don't know who their quarterback is. At La Tech is interesting. At La Tech, now they know who theirs is, Evan Bullock. The question is he good enough? They got better as the year went on. Sam Houston really confused them with their defense, but this is a different defensive look. They're going to let Evan Bullock throw it. He's going to have time to throw it. What's the defense going to look like? I picked that one as a loss. Sorry. At Oregon State, a loss. I mean, that's back-to-back. You got to go to Ruston, then all the way to Corvallis. At Delaware, I've got that as a win. Now, they've got quarterback questions as well. And their head coach, Ryan Carty, is coming back to face Sam Houston. But he told me that it is disappointing that it's not in Huntsville. It's not at Sam Houston. That does kind of suck. So, and who knows when they'll get to come back. There's no natural rivalry between Sam Houston and Delaware. That kind of sucks. But again, this is the bill is due schedule. This is the bill comes due schedule. And then Middle Tennessee, now I had that as a win during the season, during the off season. I have changed that to a loss. I've changed that one to a loss. It's on the road. It's towards the end of the year, maybe a little bit banged up. And then they come back home to close out their moonlighting schedule in Houston against FIU. So that's what I think is going to happen with Sam Houston this year. And again, if it looks competent and it looks decent, where there's no turnovers, the team is still engaged, stuff like that, I think you're okay. I think you're okay. If it looks a certain way, you're okay. Let's see. So I guess that kind of dovetails into what I think about. I was also asked about a conference title run for the Bearcats. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I mean, if you're not, I think that's okay. This isn't the SEC, man, where there's Phil Longo doesn't get it done in 2 years. I'm gonna hang up and listen. It's none of that. It's not. That's not what this is. Like I said, 26, 27, even 28. That's when they're going to be hopefully competing for that Conference USA title. If you really want to see that, that would kind of be my timeline. He's got to get some of the talent in. It's a question of, can you get 3 stars in, 3 4-star guys, 3-star guys with 4 stars peppered in and develop them. Steal a 5-star here and there somehow. I don't know how you would in this NIL world. Somehow you get those type of guys. Can you build them up and develop them? And then they go somewhere. Can we build you up in 2 years and they go somewhere? Build you up in 2 years and we go somewhere. But you're going to run my precise system. That's what's going to lead to any conference title run. Whatever conference Sam Houston finds them, they'll be there through the 2030s. So, definitely through Phil Longo's first few years tenure here, that's the goal. If I was a betting man, just from what I have heard and what I have seen, if we were to fill these guys, the coaching staff, with true serum, that's what it would be. Okay. Let's see. I was also asked about turnout, and you can hit us in on Twitter as well if you want questions. If you want your questions answered and things like that, stuff, the pressers and stuff, just let me know. Let me know, and we'll get those asked for you. All right. The turnout at Shell Energy Stadium. Well, what's it gonna look like at Shell? The good news is there are a lot of Sam Houston alum that live in Houston. The bad news is a lot of them are out here in the suburbs, a lot of the northern part of the suburbs where I am, out in Spring. Can you convince somebody in Spring, hey, it's a Wednesday night, head down in that crazy traffic with them crazy folk in Houston and go watch a Bearcats game? Now, I would do that, but again, I'm a college football sicko. I always use the sister test. what I call. Now that sounds very wrong. That sounds wrong. But what it means for me is my sister is an alum of Sam Houston, and if they're playing a game in Houston, like at NRG Stadium, she's gonna go. The question is, how many of the would she go to any of these games? You can probably get her to go to the Saturday one, but a lot of Sam Houston alum are teachers. They're educators. You're asking them on a Wednesday night. You're asking them on a Wednesday night to head on in to Houston in the middle of town, downtown, basically, to watch the Bearkats. And this isn't a knock on the product of the Bearcats, but that's a tough ask. Let me look up Humble ISD's schedule here. Let me look up their schedule here. I'm gonna see, because again, Sam Houston got a lot of teachers. It's a teacher college. Yeah, and that's my situation. Yeah, that's my situation. I'm out here in Humble. Welcome. I'm out here in Humble. But I work by there, so I'm pretty much gonna take the train literally to every game, except probably the last one Saturday. The November 15th one, I have a date in a prior engagement in San Antonio, one more book event of the year. So I will not be there, but I will be watching, right? But we will be to all the others. Coming from College Station, okay. But see, how the question would be, how many of those people is it? You know what I mean? Let's see. So October 13th, that is the one time during the season that the teachers have off. Well, in Humble ISD, they get a whole fall break. We never got a fall break. We got really 2 or 3 days for Thanksgiving. You got 2 weeks for Christmas. They got a whole week for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks for Christmas, and they got a week in the middle of October. Isn't it incredible? Jeez. My wife's going to be home a lot during the fall. Let's see here. So that puts the game on October 15th. The UTEP game, I don't know why that's not. I don't know. That should be Educators Night. They possibly, I think, missed an opportunity there, because that's a night that a lot of teachers in Humble ISD, a lot of educators that I'm sure came from Sam Houston, they could go because they're off. You got to think about that, guys. You got to think about that. I was asked, how do I come up with these analysis and all of these things? Well, I use my experience from when I was a reporter before I changed careers, and I just look at the situation. Sam Houston Teachers College, my sister teacher, my god sister went there, nurse, or a good friend of mine, not media, but PR, press relations, stuff like that. There's certain weeks that those people get off. That's one of them, the UTEP game. I think that will be the highest attended weeknight game. That will be the highest attended weeknight game. But on average, I just wrote down 3.6 to 4.1 thousand. Maybe. I kind of say 3.6 to 4.1, maybe. And maybe I'm being a little, some would say I'm being generous. Some would elicit that that's not enough. You're entitled to your opinion. I really don't know. It's right in town. I don't know. I haven't seen any billboards. I haven't seen any effort. I don't think the city is even aware that Sam Houston is playing. Yeah, I would probably say that. Yeah, I think that low. See, we got people in the comments that in the opinion of that's too low. That's fair. I just look at the city. There's people that are not aware that Sam Houston is playing. And then that's October. You got to think of the Astros games. These are going to run up against some of those Astros games. Now I went to Texas Southern versus Jackson State when Prime and Shadur and Travis Hunter were there. My wife got me tickets for my birthday, and that was the night that the Astros won the World Series. It was a lot of people just everywhere. I haven't seen how many tickets were sold. I have not yet. I have not. If you all know that, let me know. By proper channels. Yeah. Hit me with that. If you want me to ask that, let me know. I can get those answers for you. I think People are just waiting for Bauer Stadium to open. That would be my guess. You go up to Huntsville right now, it's under a lot of construction. It took me a long time to get across the highway to head back south to Houston. But because everything's under construction. And Sam Houston is the same way. Sam Houston's the exact same way right now. The football team, it's a new coach that's under construction for a couple of years. It's a new stadium that's literally under construction. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just under construction. I forgot to turn that ticker on, y'all. But it's literally just under all of it. You know what I mean? So I think people are just waiting for when it reopens, and that's going to be cool because there's a lot of houses being built out there around Huntsville, even in Willis, Spring. Sam Houston has the potential for a large footprint. I mean, you've got the far reaches of southern Palestine all the way down to, Spring, Texas, and everywhere in between. And, there's got to be an effort to let people know that it's there, But right now, just the stadium, I don't think anybody from Houston that's not really with Sam Houston knows that they're playing. Again, my sister, she didn't really know. She didn't know that was happening. I told her, like, really? They're going to play in Houston? Yeah. So that tells me there's not much of an effort there is an effort. I don't want to say that the people working aren't working hard, but as Jay-Z said, ain't nothing wrong with aiming, just got to change the target, Yeah, man. All that stuff's explained. It's ginormous. It's crazy. It's insane out there what's going on. And so I just really think that right now it's this year, even next, lean years. But after that, they're going to just be really rocking and rolling with a modernized offense, relationships with these high schools to bring in, 3 stars, 4 stars peppered in, get them ready. Oh, I'm going to Texas. Okay, we've got the next one. We're going to build them up. Again, Phil Longo talked about that, needing teachers for the coaches. And that's going to be a big part of building this up. It's just not too many people going to see it this year. But that's why you follow these places. There's not a ton of that's why we're doing this. That's why I am here. That's why we're doing what we do. Because there's not a ton of people covering this. The national guys, I love Andy and Ari on 3. I love those guys, but they're not going to talk about Sam Houston. We're going to talk about it here. But what you want is professional coverage. What you want is analyzation. You want insight that is educated and measured and balanced and all this type of stuff. And that's what it is here. That's what we're doing. So again, the Bearkat Bites, the links are in the description. Also, as we wrap this up, do not forget about the tees. They are coming soon. The Big Sam tees. I hope to get those next week. And it's a fun design. It's all these type of things going on. You know what I'm saying? And disconnect. Yeah. Sam Houston has a problem with that. They do. Because they're afraid to get down into Houston. And just beyond the alum, they're afraid to just get local people involved. My family, let me say this aside, and I'll get to the Big Sam tees. My family is from Crockett, Texas. All right. Excuse me. There's barely any presence of Sam Houston there. Any presence of Stephen F. Austin. There's 6,000 people in Crockett. And it seems like everybody in Houston has somebody that's a family there. What's Sam Houston doing to get those 6,000 people engaged? There's dozens of cities around Texas. I mean, just areas like that. A few thousand here, a couple hundred there. Sam Houston could get engaged. So if you play the game of when I go and sell my books, I play the 2% rule, 2 or 3%. So if you meet 6,000 people, 120 are going to come to the game. Can you do that 12? If you do that 12 times, that's 14,000 people. I'm doing sports talk here, man. I'm not doing math. But the point is, that's the way you market. That's the way you got to do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, Thank you all. Thank you for those comments as well. Thank you all for being so engaged. We might do this on Friday. We might do this on Friday. I might post a poll. Y'all let me know as we go along here. Y'all let me know as we go along. It's kind of fun on a Friday. We might do it on a Friday. What do y'all think? We might do it on a Friday from now on. But the big Sam T's are coming. The big Sam T's are coming. What this does is keep us going. What this does is keep us going. Again, you know, can we pay for some gas to drive to Austin? You know what I mean? All the way up to Friday might work better. Okay, okay. Y'all telling me something? Okay. Um, all the way up to, if we get, we got about 150 people who are actively reading with our Sam Houston newsletter, who are subscribed. So if that, what's 50 times 150? That's what, 6,000 or so. Let's see. Let's see. As we show you that the big Sam T's that are on their way. That's $7,500. We can, if we had that today, we could definitely go to Hawaii and cover the game comfortably. You know, not some first class luxury. I'm talking about get us there that the night before the game, cover it, sleep that day, get out the next day. You know what I mean? It's that type of stuff that we'd be able to do. Like I said, right? The goal is to go to every home game, and hopefully next year we can accomplish that next season, right? I mean, home and away, home and away. That's the goal for next season. Every home and away game, really be there so that we can give you the coverage, give you the analysis, all of those things that you want, that you desire here, right? So, yeah, all of that's coming soon. All of that stuff. But you can go and be a subscriber right now. The Big Sam T's will be here next week. We're just putting stuff out for you, man. We're just putting stuff out for you. That's all we could do. But anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Make sure you follow on Twitter, TikTok, and all that other stuff. Y'all be safe. Take care. We'll see you. All college football is good college football.